Is it recording?
Yeah.
No, I'm blessed.
No. Oh, yeah, we just cut that out.
But there was a point in time when these man here and So Solid had the game in like a chokehold. As in, anytime you went on Kiss FM, Channel U, what other channels were there?
Box, Kiss,
Box, yeah.
Ace,
Just
Box, yeah.
the videos. And the thing is, your videos...
Well, no Kerrang, no?
Kerrang, that's for rock, bro.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? A young feature there,
Maybe
no?
Devil's Nightmare might have been on that. But, yeah, and your videos now still look good. The videos you shot back then.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the budget was in them days. I don't know how I was being paid for.
Do you know what? It was big budget, but it was having actual, I guess, guys who made movies and stuff and had visions of not what we wanted to do when we were doing videos. It was before us. A lot of the garage stuff was typical in the club, and everyone's kind of we're like, no, we need to do something completely different to engage the audience to say, "Rah, did you not see that video?" Because at that time, the only way to hear the song was either radio or you would have to phone up and like spend money. I think it was like 50p or something like that.
Radio.
Yeah, and type in to see the video that comes up on.
Oh, yeah.
So it come up like, what videos do you want to see?
I remember
and there'd be
that.
numbers, and you'd have to, so you're thinking, how
you
do
text
I...
the code and whatever.
Yeah. So how do you engage the audience to put them in their
YouTube.
head? Yeah. It's all before social media, YouTube. When the internet was text. There was no videos or...
Yeah. Remember teletext on TV?
Yeah. All that, where am I going tonight? Let's see on teletext,
People to get their holidays on. Look for holiday deals and like, you have to, sometimes you miss the screen. You're like, you got to wait for another 32 screens to come past before you see the holiday.
So what was the budget for videos then?
For us, first one started off, I think around 60, 70 grand. But you've got a whole crew. Yeah. And it's film as well. So it's on 35mm film. That shit's expensive, man. Yeah. Like when they're doing reels and like cut, take, directors get pissed off because if you run out of film, budget's done. It's done. So it's proper like professional setup. But the budget started to increase. The more hits we had, the more we sold, and the label started saying,
But to be fair, you lot were making proper money back then. Get like CD sales. Getting money as in comparison to...
You mean physical sales?
Physical sales, yeah. Comparison to what's going on now.
But it's just money. I wouldn't say money would be different. It's just a different way the money was coming in, no?
And was it only sales back then that was making money? Sales and shows?
Sales and shows, yeah.
But like you say, you would actually make money off sales, whereas nowadays, you're probably not so much, you know?
Yeah.
So, you pay a lot of money for albums and singles back then, you know?
Yeah, physical,
HMV and that.
And vinyls as well.
Remember back then you had to buy the whole thing, you know what I mean? If you like 2 songs, you'll buy it, the whole thing. And then they started selling, the singles where you then have to buy, because remember HMV, you go in there, you buy whatever single you liked or whatever. Then you'd go in and buy just the single, and sometimes it'd be all £3-4. For just the single, essentially.
What was ours about? $3.99, $2.99? Yeah, single. You're right.
I had like 2 remixes or something, and then the instrumental.
Always the instrumental on it. You know what I mean? Always the instrumental on it. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't want that. You don't want the tune. You know what I mean? Throw another tune on there.
So I was gonna say, we started. I kind of started in the middle, but we should start from the beginning, innit? So that'll be a good thing. Like, as in, how did it start? How did you man link up? Because there was a point in time when people believed that like you lot was So Solid, but you weren't. But you were. It was weird. It was like Oxide and Neutrino were there, So Solid were there, but you man would do a tune and then Ash will be in the video, or do you know what I'm saying? Or Living Legends will have a set and then you'd stay on for the So Solid set. Like it was just so like intertwined that people didn't really know. So anyway, let's start with like how you man met and.
So we started on a pirate radio station called Supreme FM. That was in Brixton, and I started off. Just going back in, I think around about 98. But I started off doing jungle there on a Wednesday. So I was an MC. And then started to gravitate towards garage because the station, that's what they played. It's just jungle was on like a Wednesday. The rest of the days were garage. So I started on there and then linked up and got into a crew called Living Legends, which is Billy the Kid MC and Big Kid as the DJ. And then we formed a crew. And how I met Oxide was, what did you used to do Sundays?
Yeah, Sunday mornings.
And I used to listen to his show and think, wow, this guy flinging down some tunes. Like, so just rode down on my bike to the station just to watch and see what was going on. And yeah, just picked up the mic and started emceeing over his set and that. And then, who was it? Was it you or your brother?
Yeah, and the guy who ran the station, Patrick G, kind of formed a little crew, Specialists. I was also part of EDF. And yeah, it's the music that kind of brought us together. Like, I always concentrated on the darker style of music, and I had the advantage of the record shops from West London, whereas the station was in South London. So I had a bit of a different selection to a lot of the other DJs on there, which I guess picked up a lot of ears, you know what I mean, to the sounds that I was playing.
So why did you decide to come together? Because, for example, So Solid, I'm sure they had DJs, but I don't remember a DJ being like
prominent figure.
Prominent figure. It was more like you just had the members, innit? Whereas you two were just like an MC, and it was like you took the radio set with you into the establishment in terms of where we are now. Yeah, we're always going to be, if that makes sense. Yeah. Was that like conscious or?
No, I'd float like onto his set and Living Legends back and forth until Oxide played. Like one day he picked me up on a Sunday, him and his brother, and he's like, "I listened to this tune that I've done," and it was Casualty. And he goes, I went to the library, got like the sample, the BBC sample, put it down, and he goes, "What do you think?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, okay, I can vocal that." And I already had the Bound for the Reload lyric already, which kind of meant just like I used to do in raves to kind of reload the track and that. So yeah, me and Ox went to the studio, and I flanged the vocal down in one take on a handheld mic, Shure 48, I think it is. So it's one take done. And but yeah, so because I did it so fast in one take, we had like studio time left. And in that studio time, I made Dilemma. You know, that tune, yeah. So I made that at that same time there. So yeah, did Casualty, and then what happened?
But you know what? Like the track was made as just like a dub plate for radio. There weren't really like a vision. You know, like nowadays people can see where music can take you, and back then there wasn't. You had commercial radio, and then you had pirate radio. So this was just made as a dub. We started pressing up white labels, and the thing really like snowball effect. Just kept growing and growing, and yeah, I guess the song kind of ended up pushing forward a bigger thing than we had really planned to do, as it were.
But then when did you know it was like, yo, this is a moment, you know? Do you know what I'm saying? As in, like, the record label start sniffing, the people want to sign it.
Yeah, it was funny because we'd sold about 15,000 white labels, and we were kind of getting to the point of like, you know, where else can the track go? And we're trying to assign it to like smaller labels like Locked On and people like that. And no one really wanted to touch it because there was a bit of a divide, I guess we get into it, between like the older generation and the younger generation. So a lot of the labels were a bit afraid to kind of support it and sign it. And then management actually reached out to us to kind of manage us and to try and get us like an album deal, which again, we haven't really thought of doing, but you know, that's kind of what they approached us with.
Were you thinking about making albums then?
Nah, touching back on like pirate radio and stuff, I was saying about being in this crew called Living Legends. After our crew on Supreme FM was So Solid, they were pretty new. So they'd come up to the station after us and it'd just be like, you know, like 15 man deep rolling, and you know, like the vibes were mad, like in a little room. And there's about 15, 20 man just going off.
Mega Man, Ashlar, everything. It was cold,
yeah, it was going off. So there was competition, but it was friendly competition.
Yeah.
And credit to Mega, who had a vision. He was like, you know what? He approached like us and just like, I've got this vision, and you know, just taking the best of the best and forming just one big crew. And he was just trying to scoop up everyone on that station, Supreme, and bring them into So Solid. And what happened was there was a disagreement between So Solid and the management of that station, and everyone kind of just went their ways, part of their ways. And myself, Mega, and Mr. C set up the Light FM.
Okay.
So that's where the whole started to come together. All the pieces started to, you know, click and that. But at that time now, me and Oxide have kind of teamed up because of Casualty. But we were in So Solid. We were part of the crew, the collective. Yeah. But it's only because we got approached by Albert Samuel, who was our manager at the time, and he didn't realise that. He saw us as just a duo, Casualty. Right, so come and, we'll try and get you a deal on that. But at the same time, I'm explaining to him, I said, there's more of this where we've come from. We've got a massive collective of, So introduced him to Mega and kind of, he's like, okay, right, I see what you guys are doing.
Okay, so then how did Oh No come about then? Around that time? How far is that Oh No from...
So Oh No would have been...
Oh No, so his first official track.
Yeah. So Oh No would have been on Delight FM as a dub plate. So Casualty would have been before that, right? Yeah. And then Oh No was...
But do you know the maddest thing is, when I'm thinking about it, I think release-wise, Casualty might have been before Oh No, but in the record shops, if I'm remembering, it was rough, not rough at the same time, but
you're right. It was
rough because when I went to, I remember going to the record shop and the brother giving me the vinyl for Oh No, and me hearing for the first time thinking, shit, this is a rhythm, but I didn't really know Romeo like that.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to So Solid, you didn't hear him as much on the radio. I heard more like Asha, I heard more like yourself, Mega. So I don't remember hearing. I remember Romeo, but he wasn't as prominent. But I remember thinking, right, this is a tune.
Yeah.
But then I remember Casualty coming out, and it was different because when your one came out, I didn't see it on white label as such. I kind of saw it when you released it properly. But I'm trying to remember. I don't remember it being that far off from each other. If that makes sense.
There would have been different stages, like white label, and then we did one with like a green cross on it, and then the proper picture record come out. So.
But what was mad for us, while Casualty was out, and I remember, Oh No was, kind of around the same time, we were hearing, like, Oh No, like, but no one was playing Casualty, like, in the underground tour.
Yeah.
So we were like, what's going on? Like, we shifted about 15,000 white labels, but who's playing our track? It was just like, what's going on? Until we realised, actually, the track is just going mad across the country, like in the big commercial clubs.
Yeah. Because it was more like, when you think about it, it's more like one of those kind of tunes that you would play in like a Oceano, it's got a drop, like it's like how they make tunes now, the house tune is kind of like, it's got the build up, then the drop, then the kind of echo, and then the tune drops in and everyone would just start dancing. It had that kind of element to it. Yeah. Whereas Oh No was more like, for the man them, innit? Like, remember that little Skype everyone was doing? You know what I'm saying? So, no, that's dope still. So in terms of, so you've got to the point where Casualties come out, you're bubbling, you're like, right, we're doing our thing now. Yeah. Then where was it that you started to say, do you know what, we're gonna Only Wanna Know Because You're Famous, all these tunes, like, because remember, you weren't together then, but because of Casualty, you came together. So when did you start saying, you know, we can make tunes now? It's us, like, we're going to start taking this forward.
Yeah, well, we've done a lot of touring of Bound for the Reload, like, we was doing school tours in the day, like early morning, and clubs at night. And so, when you're signed to a label, they want more records. We'd signed an album deal with them, so that's how kind of a lot of the other records come about, from the kind of want from the label, as it were.
Oh, so they kind of told you, bro, like, we need more success. Like,
yeah. And there's other tracks we had made that was kind of floating around, but that was the real point for us to kind of push on and make a lot of records.
But what was good is having Pirate Radio Station as like kind of a promotional tool at our hand. Like, we could play our records on there and engage like what the audience thought of that. People would ring up like rewinds and stuff like that. So a lot of our stuff that wasn't necessarily made for the album was like just on Pirate Radio Station that we put onto the album.
So you got to test it out, then, you know what I mean? Yeah. You have little focus groups, you're like, okay, they don't like this one, they like this one, you know what I mean? Yeah. Dope way to make your album, you like, they like those 12 songs, you know what I mean?
That's actually sick though, because your consumers are your listeners.
Yeah.
So like, and at that point in time, like, that was kind of, it was weird though. You had You-Man in South.
Yeah.
Then you had the East lot. So you had like Deja, FMs, you had like Roll Deep, East Connection, all them, man. And then the South lot. And it was like, there wasn't a beef, it was just a divide in terms of like, South never came to East, East never came to South. You might link up at like a Cosa Nostra or like one of those kind of events, Varied Nation. But generally speaking, so it was very much, your audience was niche in terms of You-Man, and then their audience was very niche.
I remember trying to listen to the station from Northwest. It's just tough. It's just, it fades in.
Well, you got signal.
Out. Yeah, sometimes you can hear it and then it fades out and then it fades. It's hard. It was hard.
It was hard because when like I used to engineer the station, and so putting aerials up and try to get the spend the most money on like the biggest transmitter in the area. But when you've got too many stations close to like, it was 103, too much interference. That's why you can hear it coming in out. So we were banging out like powerful transmitters, but because these stations are closer to where you are, it's cutting in.
How much do the transmitters cost and all that? Because I know like people say if the police or whoever run up in
DTI,
there, that's what DTI, that's what kept us tuned called DTI.
Yeah.
What does DTI mean?
There's a part of the trading industry.
That's the people that come and mash up the thing. So if they come to your station, they take it.
DTI.
Yeah, that's DTI. So they'll take your decks. They take everything, innit?
Well, what you do, right? So this is how we did it. So you buy a transmitter. So your transmitter could be anywhere from like 200 to maybe like 450, 550, depending on how powerful you wanted it. And what we'd do is we'll put the transmitter on top of the block with the aerial, but then the studio will be somewhere else.
Okay.
And we have like a link, which would be like, see at the end of a satellite dish, the LMB it's called. Like you'd have that pushing the signal into the studio.
Okay.
So it's a bit bait because it's a line of sight, so they can kind of
figure out where it is.
Yeah. But what we used to do, we used to get another little transmitter and transmit to the studio. So transmitter, and that throws them off. They don't know
where.
Yeah. So that was kind of, but what happens there is you kind of cut down on the quality of sound.
Yeah.
So it's, pros and gains. But yeah, what would happen is you might be doing your set and then you just hear, you're like, DTI. So what we would do, we'd go up to the block just to check, because you used to get guys trying to rob your shit.
Oh.
Right? So it's either you're getting robbed or it's DTI. So we go up there and you see the guys in their suits and you're just friendly with them, chat with them because it's their job. And the biggest no-no was don't touch them, don't hurt them, don't do nothing. Let them take the transmitter, buy another one. And they kind of let you do what you're doing.
Yeah,
so they'll come every 2 weeks. But as long as you don't do nothing to them, you're fine. But some guys make the mistake of, brought them up, take the transmitter back. They're coming for your studio.
And that's a whole different,
yeah.
a whole different,
It's different, You ain't coming back on that station name, nothing. That's everything's gone. Everyone's getting nicked. That's in the yard.
Everything.
Record's gone.
So that's something I never used to think of, even when we were on
Radar.
On Top.
Oh,
So it's the same thing, because for me, I didn't understand the concept of pirate radio. So we were pirate radio at the time. It's only later on people were like, you know what I mean? They could just run up in here at any time. I was like, wow, I've been here 2 years ago and told me this shit.
Brother, let me not even bait them up, but like where it was so bandoo, yeah.
Which time?
It was, no. The time when,
I'm telling you, bro, because it moved around.
But my time.
It was bandoo every time.
No, my time was like literally you had to walk through a barbershop.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm walking through the barbershop, and it got to a point where I knew all the barbers.
Bro, it was funny because remember the time they locked the door?
I'm like, yo, brother, what's good? Just good.
Then you to the back.
Now you just go downstairs into some dungeon, and then you're in the studio. Then sometimes you get to the studio, and someone has either
locked the thing.
that disconnected something. So your set's about to start, and you're like, why the deck on? So you're having to make phone calls like, who was on before? Like, it's mad, bro. And then as Keith says, one time we got to the barbershop, man went in, bro.
The barbershop was
He was closed. The brother weren't there, bro. He was gone. Where's the barber? We're going home, man. But, bro, the radio's still there, bro. It's like, we'll send someone with key, man. Don't worry. I'm thinking, brother.
And you're there for time.
Yeah, I remember
there was
that
one time
still.
it used to be in one kind of, it's like an industrial place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Remember in Croydon?
There was two of them.
Yeah, there was an industrial place. It's kind of like in the back of, you'd go in and you'd go through the offices. It was near the Asda.
Yeah.
Near the Asda, and you go around the back and you go in, bro. It was literally mad obscure places. You know what I mean? Mad.
Just keep moving.
Yeah, it was
all for
literally
vibes, you know?
Because before it was near, like I used to like it was just near my house when I used to live in Heath. So it was literally near my yard. Then they moved to a next place, and they moved to a next place, and then you start to realize with pirate radio, you got to keep moving, bro.
Keep moving.
I mean, you don't know where your show is this week.
I was going to ask, so do people pay subs for that?
To keep it running,
Yeah.
So your subs come in and you pay for the transmitter.
Yeah, okay, cool. It makes
But
sense.
a way to not get like the studio boomed off and that is if you run it professionally, like a professional radio. So like your adverts and no swearing before 9 p.m. and just keeping it clean. Yeah. And
so they listen.
Yeah.
Well, of course they do.
But in my head I was thinking pirate radio. If we can find you, we're locking it off. They're not listening. But the way you make it sound is like if they're listening, thinking,
and what frequency you're on.
What frequency you're on as well? Yeah.
Oh, serious?
Yeah. If you bleed too much into like a legit station, they're coming for you that same day. You have to be so
if you're
careful.
too near to the airport.
Yeah.
Oh, so can you choose what?
You could choose what frequency you want. Yeah. And then we would do stuff like up the game, like transmitting stereo sound. Is it Pirates mono. Not a lot of people know that.
Okay.
But we would like do stereo, so it sounds. So
It's called where the name comes
RDS
up.
as well.
Yeah,
So
RDS.
when it come up, like you're listening to the Light FM, cool, and the numbers coming through. There's little things like that to.
So I'm saying these men were taking it professional. The videos, the pirate radio, you were taking it seriously still. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into like, I'm trying to think of the timeline because obviously Casualties dropped now. Everyone in the UK knows you. Did it go number one?
Yeah.
So that went number one. What was it? I think it was end of April, May, and we didn't think that would happen. Like we've done a video. There's this mad buzz, and everyone's going crazy. So label was saying, potentially it could be number one, and you were like, what? This is a track we made on Pirate Radio Station. Right, you lot for real. And then midweek they're like, you lot are number one, but we were like battling out with someone else.
Okay.
And what was weird as well, we didn't have any national radio support whatsoever for the track.
Oh, so it wasn't like a playlist or B playlist?
Nothing at all for this track. Not
So
one
how are
thing.
you not doing the promo?
Radio.
Pirate Radio
Pirate Radio,
Station,
that's it.
the video channels, and us like touring for probably 6 months. Like
I said with the school tours and
school
the clubs.
tours as well.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
You're saying school tours. What do you mean school tours?
So you rock up
We're going to like assemblies in the morning, performing in the schools.
Swear.
Yeah,
Brother,
so
we
we're
never
going
had that.
across
I
the
never had
country.
that in St. Joseph's.
We never had
That
that.
would have been like, you got to do certain schools though, because that school, we would have gone back to class.
It's mad. So we've got video footage. Like we put it in
Like
got a video coming out. We put some of it in there, but we've caused like riots. And
Brother, that would be cold, you know?
crazy stuff. Like kids going up on
Chasing the
stage
cars.
and chasing our car like tour van and banging on it, and teachers like, all right, and
That's probably why they said, you lot can come Northwest, boy.
Yeah,
Well,
because
we ain't going back
because
to
you
school.
lot take it too far.
We ain't getting back to lesson.
Yeah, you would have shut the car. You would have shut the car.
Calm down. Our school ain't that bad, bro.
Northwest, you know?
Don't take it too far, bro.
Our school ain't that bad.
but yeah,
That's just crazy.
yeah.
The number one.
So yeah, it goes to number one, and the radio's got to play it now, like for the number
Yeah,
one
they're
spot,
forced to
and they
play
were
it,
just
yeah.
like, yeah, that was Oxide.
Awkward silences.
And they proper did it. You know one of those ones where they proper did a 1-2 and they're like, ha. Joke's on you.
But it was mad because looking back now, what we realized, we were the first. You said it earlier on, as a DJ and MC, that format
Yeah.
to go number one. No one had ever done that before.
Yeah, true.
So people watching, looking at that was like, oh, that's what we listen to in here on the Pirate Radio Station. That's crazy. That's what when I was 14, 15, listening to Jungle,
Yeah.
I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah,
But it didn't happen. But we managed to do that and bring that to light. So it was the first year DJ MC to have a number one within Garage.
And it's weird, the name as well just rolls off your tongue.
Yeah.
Oxide Neutrino. It's weird. If you just said Oxide by itself, you'd be like, said Neutrino by itself,
Yeah,
Oxide Neutrino just rolls off the tongue. But I don't know what it is, but it's just,
Where did the name come from?
that's the names, bro.
So what's Neutrino?
Bro, like, it's two different names, big man. Like,
No, he's saying Neutrino's a particle.
One's physics and one's to do with chemistry.
Okay.
But it's a particle.
Oh, so Oxide, is it
No, yeah, I'm saying-
oxidization? No. Oh, so you chose both names?
No,
do you know what? His is a bit more strategic. He knew like the meaning of it. For me,
like, I
same
like
thing
where
kind
that
of come
shit
from
sounds.
Jungle and like DJ Zinc and names
Oh,
like that.
okay.
And I think my first name was DJ Dynamite, and then heard like another 7 DJ Dynamites. And I thought, I need something different,
You're lucky because if you had Dynamite and MC Dynamite,
exactly.
Okay. That makes sense now still.
Go on YouTube, anything, it's like 200 people pop up, you're trying to find the names in there. It's a lot.
I legit bought the CD, the album, Execute.
I got the album in my
No,
yard.
I'm looking at the cover now. Yeah, man, I had
The brown cover, innit? Like the brown kind
Yeah.
of like sepia thing. Yeah, come
You're
on.
dumb. That's it.
Well, what's sepia?
No, but it wasn't sepia then though.
The thing was, the man,
The
he
brown
told you,
tint.
man's a geek, man, you sepia from day. Man, you sepia, come on, bro. I had the album still, I remember. Then
And we have to big up East West. Like we were signed to Warner Brothers East West.
Okay.
And we do have to big them up for there was a certain level of quality to them and their stuff. So yeah, a lot of the visual, the marketing, and all that thing. We were with a big powerhouse,
Yeah.
So we have to put a lot of
Yeah,
credit to them.
because what I would say is whenever your things did come out, it was always proper.
Yeah.
So it was like your album art, proper. Your videos, proper. Like everything was proper. So now you're saying it, like, even like Devil's Nightmare video, I remember like you put your face in the water and you're rapping like underwater, and the idea is always cold. Do you know what I'm saying? And obviously it's weird because I'm living it in real time. I'm going back and I'm trying to remember the moments that like stuck out to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Even Up Middle Finger.
Yeah. Shout to Ben and Joy Dempsey. They was the directors. They did all our videos.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Ben and Joy Dempsey.
Okay.
So it's two brothers, and they did pretty much every single one of our videos.
Are they still in the scene now?
Yeah, they do like films and adverts and stuff like that. We called them up the other day because we needed Bound for the Reload in HD.
Okay.
Put out there, so we had to get ask them for the masters and then gave it to us.
How do you do that?
Because 35mm film can go up to, I think, like 8K. So you can like when you see all these transfers from film, like back in the day and on Blu-ray now.
They scale them up.
Yeah, like on 35mm film, you can go up to about, I think it's like 8K, like the quality of it. So anyone that shot their videos on film, if you get hold of the masters, you can transfer that to 4K now. 8K, I think it goes up to.
Oh, wow.
Remember, like you were saying, it was expensive. Do you remember, I think it was an episode of Punk'd where they were punking Kanye with his film on the video.
Yeah.
And remember, Kanye's had the film, you know what I mean? Because like I said, man is saying, yo, this is like, you're thinking, yo, this is my budget right here. You know what I mean? You are not fucking with any of this. Bro, he was going crazy. He had the film and he was losing it, bro. He was like absolutely not. He was like, you're not fucking up this video. So yeah, when you think back and stuff like that, I'd say videos back then, I feel like videos back then were more creative because people cared more.
Nah, Keith, you say that, yeah? There were bare garbage videos on Channel U, bro.
100%.
I like this.
You know when I say, you know why?
Am I lying?
No, 100%. But I guess I feel like they were a bit more creative because we cared more about the video.
Yeah, I think if you're talking like a commercial sense, then yeah. But when you're going to Channel U, that was basically restarting again from the bottom. Because like what happened, like we got basically Soul Solid got banned and everything kind of came to an end and it made everything like a reset.
You got banned on Channel U and all that?
No,
everything. From what? Why though?
Just made scapegoats because there was a rise in gun crime around, I guess, 2002 and 2003, all that. Yeah, you know, around that it was mad. Mad. And I think it was in a story of rave that we did and 2 people got shot. And yeah, the media just ran wild with that. It was just like, bringing up, you know, our lyrics from the album, and even us, I swear it got brought up in Parliament and stuff like that. And MPs were just like, these guys are a menace, and the blanket ban. It was like any club that plays garage or Solid, like you use your license, you can't.
Serious?
So it started then?
This is like about 2003. And we were just about to do like a national tour as well. So this is when we've done all our hits, everything's come out, and you know, we're like, wow, first big tour, then cancelled.
Serious?
All our shows cancelled.
That went on for years, like people turning up to raves and
serious
warning the promoters if anything kicks off in your club tonight, you lose your license. A lot of
so they're not risking it.
Scared to put on garage events.
See, people don't see those side of things, man.
And you know, you know what I mean, even as sometimes you sit there as an artist, you will sit there and think, I get it, because you think, you know what I mean, the promoter sitting there or the owner of the venue's like,
livelihood, innit?
You know what I mean? Like literally it's little things you don't think about until you think about. Even when you had your spot taste, you start to think about things differently. You know what I mean? Where you sit there and you're like, I want to do this, but you know what I mean? And you know the landlord, you know what I mean? If you lose your license, landlord don't give a shit. You know what I mean? He was your 25-year lease, bro. And you're 24 years left. You know what I mean? License or no license, I need that rent paid. So you start to think, so I might not, you know what I mean? I might not do this event.
What are you zooming into?
So basically, I managed to find an article in a old school, Music Week. So there's an advert where it says Oxide Neutrino, Bound for the Reload, Casualties, single released 24th of April 2000. And the magazine is from April the 22nd. So I'm just trying to find the songs that were out around that same time. So number 1 at the time was...
I Need a Miracle.
I Need a Miracle, Fragma.
Yeah. Number 2 was Craig David, Fill Me In. Yeah. Number 3, Cisco, Fong Song.
Mental.
Flowers, number 4. Bloodhound Gang, A Bad Touch.
Can't remember that one.
I'm just gonna mention songs that people would name. Destiny's Child, Say My Name.
Whoa.
Westlife, Fool Again.
Some rhythms, you know.
Yeah.
You know what it was? Back then, right? When you released, it was like 100-meter Olympic finals.
Because like everything
It was,
smoke.
Competition.
Bro, the tunes you heard there, bro, that's just banger off the back.
Bro,
That's
Shania
You're not
Twain.
on the list with just me, these songs where you're like, we just cut through.
Will Smith. Gabrielle.
Bro, if
Khalees.
you heard the list, bro.
Jennifer
Khalees, Will
Lopez.
Smith, Destiny's Child, Craig David.
Puff Daddy, Satisfy You.
It's a rhythm, though.
At the same time.
NSYNC, Bye Bye Bye.
Well, that's why you came out that same year.
Same week. This is all in the charts that week.
You had like the Missy Elliott's and the Ludacrises. And,
Yeah.
like,
And that's when you knew people really fuck with your shit because you were competing with stuff
Still
like that.
Dre.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Still Dre was 21 at the time.
But do you know the magic thing
21st
is,
was
that shows you the power of
Pirate Radio.
pirate radio at that time because now you got the internet, you got YouTube, whatever. But in those days, literally, like you knew everyone's set time.
Yeah.
So man would rush home. I remember like Rough Squad on, I think it was 8 till 10. Then Roddy were on 10 till whatever. You man were on a particular day. Like people knew the days in the schedule. So they'll come home. And I remember the worst one was, you used to put your tape in the
TDK thing.
press record.
Lock up the top of the tape.
That, yeah, if you're re-recording of another tape, like an old tape, yeah. Put it in, and the worst one was when the tune comes on, you're vibing, you hear, oh my God, the tape was stopped.
Choked.
The tune was going in, the tape was stopped. But there's nothing you can do, bro.
Yeah.
And sometimes you hope, I hope the set's rubbish now, man. Like from the time your tape stops, I hope they just go.
Do you know how many sets have probably gone like just disappeared because no one's recorded it? No one thought to record it. Like, you know, like it's a set going on, everyone's listening to it, but someone's, you know, like before it will be like, oh, someone's come to the studio and a man's heard it and the next man's come to the studio. All of a sudden they've clashed. No one's pressed record because everyone's living in the moment.
Nah, people press record. If we're at home, you press record.
Yeah, but you've got it. How do you distribute to everyone else?
I've literally got, in my house, I've got like a trainer box full of tapes, of old tapes.
No, I think what Tazer means is literally the people.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying, I've just got a box.
I'm talking about the
of
masses. Like you would have heard, obviously everyone would have heard, like, for example, let's just say D-Double versus Gets, for example, yeah? So people know what I'm talking about. Let's say they clashed, yeah? You recorded it. How do you get it out to everybody else to listen to it?
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean?
So
It's
literally
either you
just
heard
have-
it that night or you hear someone talk about it tomorrow.
That's
You know,
it.
D-Double and Gets clashed. Oh, shit. You can't run to YouTube or SoundCloud. Literally, you heard it, or you didn't. That
But
was it.
people get tapes. People say, "Let me borrow that tape, please."
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah,
Borrow the tape, man. I'll never get it back.
But I feel like
I see that tape. Now. I need it back. Give me my fucking tape, bro.
And I feel like that's why we used to value music a bit more back then because you're like, I miss it. You know, one of those things where, even with videos, like where you're like, I have to be home at a certain time if I want to watch this. So it's not like
EastEnders and that, innit?
I can't. It's not like I can consume this whenever I want. You know what I mean? It's like videos like, you know, Pussy Poppin' and all of those songs when they came out. It was one of those where like I know around what time it's going to be about, and I have to be there at this time. So you have to plan. You have to think ahead. You have to want. You know what I mean? It's not nowadays. You know what I mean? We watch things we couldn't give a damn about because it's there. I can literally get it right now. What do I lose? Back then, it's literally like, if I want to watch this, I'm going to be up, or I need to be at home between this time and this time. So you literally start to plan. You know what I mean? You're a bit more, you know, intentional with what you do. And that's what's like, we used to value music so much more.
But
back
it
then.
was more of a culture back then.
And it just wasn't on demand.
It was
You know
more
what, I
of a culture.
I think like back then as well, you had more of an impact when you were successful because you had like 4 or 5 TV channels. You had obviously commercial radio. But now everything's so saturated. Yeah, like everyone's got their own Spotify, their own mixtapes, a million different radios. Like, it's really hard to tap into everyone these days. Whereas back then, when you had success, like levels of fame and that, when us and Social were doing our thing was crazy, like across the whole country because you're doing Top of the Pops. It's like not much on TV. You know, you got 4 or 5 channels, like I said, and I think it's just a different era. Like I say, I used to appreciate it more and have physical things, read the CD sleeves, and it's all a little bit more personal, you know.
I've been on radio for about 3 months now. Obviously, it's playlisted, isn't it? Some of the songs that they're playing on the radio, I'm just like, I ain't heard this song, but it's.
But you don't listen to radio. That's why.
Now
But I don't need to listen to the radio to know what's popping.
You do though.
I don't. It could be like I say, it could be TikTok.
No, I hear you, but I think the difference is, I feel like if you listen to radio, for example, you know that people listen to radio on the way to school run or you'll hear songs.
No, but what I'm saying is, what's popping on radio doesn't mean what's popping in our scene.
No, I'm not saying that. You don't get what I'm saying. I'm saying that, for example, in terms of radio and whatever, that now, as Oxide said, you've kind of we listen to what we like now. So, for example, you'll make a playlist on Spotify and you like, for example, you like Little Baby and them man. So Little Baby, Ghana, whatever, you're going to listen to whatever your style of music. That might not be what's on radio. So technically...
No, that's what I'm saying. Because at the radio station that I was listening to, wherever they would play, pretty much I'd pick out what I'd like and you'd hear it on other sets. That you kind of hear this DJ play this tune. Like, for example, Eskimo. You would hear that on a set. But like right now that I'm working at BBC, the music I'm seeing on the playlist, I'm just like, that they're telling me this is the next up. I'm like, I've never heard of this guy, is what I'm saying. Like, none of us have heard of him. Like, I'd mention artists, like, you'd be like, who's that? But the radio saying this is next, is what I'm saying. And he could be next, get a number one, number two, and we will have no idea who this brother is.
But all that shows you is, radio kind of used to dictate things because now, because we have so many other mediums we can get stuff from, we get to see so many other tunes of what's really popping. Back then, they decided what was popping and you have nowhere else to really measure, what's going on. Because now you go on a Spotify, see those playlists. Like you said, you hit TikTok. Like I said, that's something.
I guess that's their pirate radio now,
No,
that's
literally, we banter, we can banter TikTok all we like. But like I said, the way it was just breaking artists and stuff like that, it's ridiculous.
You know that sound by go? I don't know the lyrics, but it sounds like "Going to the Moon."
Yeah. What's his name?
That brother, yeah.
No, not him. Someone else.
I know you're talking about,
That brother, yeah. Do you know how much units he sold of that song? Oh my God. All because of like TikTok and Instagram.
I think Daps did one of the videos for it.
Bro, the guy's gone off that one song because of the like TikTok.
But that's their pirate radio now. If you think about it, that is there.
But the beauty of what you're saying, I hear what you're saying, but the beauty is radio used to control what people wanted to listen to, but pirate radio was for everyone else. Like, I'm not listening to that like for example, that BBC or Capital. I'm not listening to Capital. So I'm not listening to Shania Twain, and the list you read out
is very, very versatile.
Is everything that was being played on radio.
That's all the commercial stuff.
You know what I'm saying? These men were like what was not being played on radio. So it was basically a race or like a fight between the commercial and the pirate. And the pirate won on that instant. And even it showed, because even Soul Solid's success and Neutrino's success shows that we had a voice in terms of what we wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying?
So how far from that moment to like, obviously I don't want to skip, but just a question, 21 seconds.
So Bound for Reload came out and then we did No Good For Me, which was... And we had the opportunity to release potential number one or...
They were Christmas talking like it was guaranteed. Like, number one.
What do you mean?
So because of the success of Bound for Reload and then No Good For Me, the label kind of knew. They were like, listen, this is massive. This is definitely like a number one. But we can release around Christmas to try and go for the Christmas number one. We were like, let's take the gamble.
You're talking about more sales as well, you'd sell more around Christmas.
But who was but Christmas number one?
That's hard.
It's a hard one,
Bro, Christmas number one. Bro, they go ham on that.
Take that, get busy, bro.
Right, like you get like the Mr. Blobby and Bob the Builder.
You're competing against everything.
And sometimes, remember, in terms of this country, it's like a novelty sometimes. It's not even good music. It's just the novelty song. Mr. Blobby brings it out. Let's have a laugh and let's make Mr. Blobby number one. What are you talking about?
And a lot of these companies will probably put more, like, it gets to a point where some of them don't even care about making money now. They will pump so much money just getting the number one. Because once they do that, so you're thinking, yo, this has to make sense for us. You're competing with people that are like, for us, bro, we could promote this. However, you know what I mean? We're taking it to hell and back, essentially.
Bob the Builder was the Christmas number one that year. Can we fix it?
And you can't go up against kids.
That's a rhythm, though.
Yeah, little kids for
can't lie to
number
you.
one, man.
Can we fix it? That's a rhythm. Yes, we can. That was a tune still.
So that we sold pretty much the same amount of Casualty with No Good For Me. And then after that was Up Middle Finger, which was one of my favourite tunes because it was
a statement.
Fuck off to everyone that just tried to block our shit coming through, and and the video kind of like taking a piss out of the older lot in the garage scene, and that was a lot of fun, that video.
So
Up Middle Finger was too cool. I remember Up Middle Finger.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, so what was the relationship like between is it garage and jungle?
No. So what you had is you had an older lot that were kind of like the main garage scene.
Okay, cool, yeah.
And then you've got us guys who've come in like 16, 17, 18-year-olds trying to
muscle in.
Yeah. And they were like, no, we've got this on lock. This is our thing. And we were like, all right, you won't let us on your radio station. We'll do our own pirate radio station. Like, you won't let us go in your rave. We'll do our own raves. So we make our own tunes, kind of, you know, like.
Yeah.
So history kind of repeats itself. It's like the argument with like grime and drill.
Not really, because grime and drill ain't really beefing like that. Remember, because, for example, grime and drill is completely different. And also, in terms of grime, the artists in grime that have had success have kind of moved on and just left grime to his own devices, and then drill's just birth forever. But in terms of what Neutrino was saying is, like, for example, you had jungle with Skibbity and people like that. Then you had garage, and then garage was like CKP, DT, people like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Even the song that went to number one, Good Times, we will have.
That went number one.
They got it on one.
No, there's only been.
One of them songs went number one.
I said respect my number one.
No. You're thinking of Do You Really Like It?
Oh, sorry, that was number one.
Yeah.
The
Do You
BT
Really
thing.
Like It?
Same kind of-
Piper Master Ceremony.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the number ones you was Chocolate Boy, Sweet Like Chocolate Boy,
Yeah.
Craig David, Fill Me In,
Yeah.
then Us, then a year and a couple months later, Soul Solid, 21 Seconds, and then Master Ceremonies, and then I think the last of that era was Daniel Bedingfield. I Gotta Get Through This.
Oh, I remember that. I was like 12.
Yeah.
11, 12, yeah.
I thought Daniel Bedingfield was a girl for time.
Yeah. Same.
Like when I saw the video, I was in shock.
I was rattled. Yeah.
Because the voice was just. I said, "Wait, what?"
I said, Mickey Free.
And he filmed it by my house as well. And Pop, I used to live by that bridge. I remember, and I'm thinking, what? Anyway,
Because the youngest listening are not going to remember when we used to make our own custom ringtones on the Nokias, yeah.
What, bing?
Yeah, 4E1. I was like, yeah.
41G, 26G.
Or do you remember Kick?
Kick intro.
Yeah, they don't remember those days, man.
Big tunes.
Yeah.
Alright,
Good times.
So going back to Up With The Fingers, so I remember that video, yeah?
Yeah.
And I remember it's like you were talking to someone in particular. I don't know if you want to say the names or whatever, it's cool, but I remember because that video, did someone say something about you or something?
Yeah.
In particular.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember that video, you were proper like, there's a bit where the tune goes quiet and then you kind of make a little statement and the tune comes back in.
Yeah.
And Percy ones.
Yeah.
Those are the days, but there was no one telling you what to do in those days. No one was telling you like you can't make this track, so you could literally.
Not
make
even the
whatever you
label
wanted.
could tell us. They would come in and be like, I don't think. Nope.
Doing what we wanted to.
Nope. We're doing it. And they're like, all right, okay. We'll just... Like the headache for them was
Was
rap this, isn't it?
Yeah,
That was
we had a really good
mad.
manager who'd be like on the same tip, like, no, fuck you, we're doing this. And, you know.
Yeah.
Which one's rap this? The one with the mad beat?
Nigga wanna
That's
fuck
the soul,
his
that's the
own.
No, but the beat.
Yeah. You can't stop this shit, no. You got shit.
Yeah.
Platinum whips and yeah, nah. These man, listen. These
That's
man
some
are
bangers,
huge, you know.
Serious tunes, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a little iconic things. It's like when you think back to those times, bowler hats, Averexes, TTs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Mm.
those synonymous symbols. Like
Can we now admit that TT is actually a garbage car now? Because when I look at TTs now, like back
Not-
then, no.
not in them days, bro.
I'm saying that back then.
if you had a
back
TT then,
but now I'm
bro.
saying, it's funny because I had this conversation with Ak, bro. We were looking at a TT now, and you're like,
No, but that's because you're looking at it now.
no. Even when you look at them now, like even talk about the newer ones, when you go back, okay, I look at it. There was one point in time I wanted, the 306 CC.
I don't know.
Bro, but you know when you think back then, but when you looking back now, you're
the
like,
206 one was cold as well, bro.
Yeah.
it's the 206 is not
Even the thing, even the
I know
a
what
Vox or Tigra, yeah.
Tigra. I knew
I had one of those.
Yeah.
That's the first car I bought.
Serious.
Yeah, my first paycheck. I said, I want that car.
Yeah.
Bought it, yeah.
Even Alpha Romeo, T-Spark. Remember
Yeah,
T-Spark?
yeah.
What, you got a T-Spark, you were a bad boy. What T-Sparks? The Lexus, the Mega had as well.
IS200
thing.
What was that in
Is it the IS200?
What game was that in?
What?
Getaway. Was it
Getaway, yeah.
Remember?
Bro, it's the IS200. I know that because I used to love the hell out of that, you know what I mean, Lexus, you know what I mean? And then you look back at it now and you're like,
Yeah, but that's how it goes. When you look back at cars, you can look back and be like, this is what man was fussing over.
yeah, no, IS200, do you remember the compacts,
But at the
crazy,
time,
the compressors,
The
crazy.
moment as well. Do you remember when Vauxhall changed the Astra? And you could get the free door, and it was like everyone used to call it the Batmobile.
Yeah.
That was a
and
moment
you
as
tint
well.
that with black rim.
Yeah.
Now, the TTs back then were like spaceships because the cars around them times.
With boxy and
Just,
this,
when that came out.
Yeah, I feel like that's when the shapes really
Mad.
changed from the box
Man,
to...
yeah. What were we doing? We had a gig in Cardiff, right? And Mega pulled up in the TT. And I was like, oh my God.
Was it like an Ace and Mitch type situation?
Yeah.
Just pulled up his
Let's say with the BBS rims.
I can imagine Mega pulling up as well. You know?
And it was like,
What, hair out?
yeah. And it was just like, rah. So we hop in. I think it was me, Mega, and I can't remember who else it was. We're going Cardiff, and he played me They Don't Know. Like him and Asher with it. And I was like, rah. And I was like, nah, you lot have changed the game with this. Because they were like rapping over the garage, like going back to back. Like, it's just like, they don't know about, mad. I remember, and then I was like, I need to get one of these. Next day when I'm
You know what's funny about the tune? I think that's the one where Asher D, when he did the interview, where he talked about my man.
I was going to say that,
So it was funny because when he did it, so I thought it was an interesting interview because he's like, he sent my man the tune because he's like, yo, this is what I've got coming next. And man sent him, he sent him the tune back. Man said, I fixed it.
Mega Man was just...
No, actually, wait, no.
Mega Man put his verse on there.
Man said, he said, Asher D was like, man said, I fixed it. Give him the tune. And man said, man's on the tune.
I just said they sent the tune back and Mega's on
man
the
just sent him
tune.
the tune. You know, so Asher sent him
It was
the
Asher's
tune.
tune.
No, I know. I'm saying, whose decision was it to put Miss Dynamite on it? Because that was
That's a remix.
great decision.
That's the remix.
Okay.
The commercial one that you see is the remix. So the original was just Asher and Mega like clashing each other.
Okay. I said I fixed it.
No, it was funny because literally when he tells the story at the time, because he was like, back at the time, he's like, they weren't seeing eye to eye essentially. So for him, he was like, that's what made it worse at the time. Because he was like, one of those things where it was more or less, I have to show this the tune.
Like a passive aggressive thing.
Yeah,
Man
that's
said,
what it was.
Because you know how funny it is? Because that means Mega heard the tune,
Said, nah, I got to get pieces.
said, yo, man rang the engineer, said, yo, I need to book some studio time, yo. Went to the studio, laid it, mastered it, whatever. Send it to me, please. Yo, Asher, here you go. Asher must have been like, what?
You're steaming at home, but I love, you know what I mean, the story behind that.
But the thing is, when you're on the other side, you'll never know. When you heard the tune, you're thinking, you man knew about it.
Yeah.
It was both, and then Dynamite's remix. Yeah, cold.
It's a big tune, man.
Did you get a TT in the end?
I bought one the next day when I was on Mega's.
You're like, I need
Raw.
that. You're like, I need that. Yeah.
The cars, man. He had all the cars.
It was mad. And then, like, the TT was mad. And then I think, what happened? Did I write it? I think I ripped it off, man. I got into it's mad. And then bought a convertible after that. And then I thought, I'm done with these TTs, man. Everyone's got them. I would be going raves. And like, everyone, man, I got the TTs. And I'm thinking, what can I went and bought a Porsche. I was just like,
No, but you're forgetting, I think the influence you man had was sick. I don't think you understand,
you didn't hear what he said. Man said, I'm tired of the TTs, let me go get a Porsche.
No, but do you know what it is?
That's why, you know what I mean, no one could get that.
But it's not like, that's levels above, you know.
No, it is.
Because I started knowing about cars, you see what I'm saying? I didn't really know about cars then, and then I started getting into my cars, and I was like, I'm done with this, because I think I didn't have the 225 TT, the 1.8, and you're getting blown out, and I thought, this is low, man. Let me get some.
Man had the entry level, and he was like, nah. No, that man that go in the showroom and pick the first one there. You know what I mean? It's the TT, give me that one.
But that's what I'm saying. The influence is so mad that at a point in time,
everyone had TTs.
When you remember,
that's why people started buying TTs.
It was an aspirational thing. It was like, I see these man. Because remember, back in the day, we didn't see as many people on the TV that were successful like that from our scene, innit? So even like, for example, the Wiley, Dizzy and them lot, you didn't actually see them on TV like that. It was more stage shows, or you go to a rave, you see them on the stage. Whereas you man transitioned into TV. Sick videos. So I'm at home and I'm just watching videos. I only want to know you because you're famous in black and white. I'm like, yo, this video is cold. You see Up Middle Finger, 21 Seconds, even the one with Mega Man where he's like,
Right of us.
And he's like, I don't see TT in a Mega. I mean, he's hat down, rooftop, his hair out. Is he fucking dizzy? Oh, brother, the video's funny, that intro bit. But like, you're seeing videos like that and you're thinking,
So who was the creative director behind 21 Seconds, as in the video?
That's Max and Donnie, I think they're called. I think that's their name, yeah.
So the people who done your video weren't the same people?
Nah, different camp, because Soul Solid was signed to a different label.
Okay.
To us.
So when they gave you the leather piece, so you didn't question nothing?
Leather piece?
As in what he was wearing? When they're not wearing leathers?
What was that? That was at Mobo's?
No, but you went in 21 Seconds, were you?
Nah.
No, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I'm getting... Sorry.
What are you on about?
Sorry.
Sorry.
You checked me straight away. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
But you know, like,
but what, you didn't go to the video shoot at all, though?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
So when you saw them in the...
But you know what? I was meant to be on the track. So So
I was gonna say that. I thought you would have been in and
I
around
was meant to be on the track, but we were on tour, and I think it was G-Man that called me. He's like, "Oh, you need to put your verse down."
Yeah,
we're trying to do it over the phone, but technology back then was can't do it.
Yeah.
So like
you need to be.
Yeah.
So what verse would you have dropped on it though?
Super Nooch.
Ooh, Averex. Oh my god.
That would have been on 21 seconds.
Girls come up to me talking. Yeah, that's mad still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now it's different, bro, because now man are out there, you know what I mean, recording in their hotel room.
Shine done
you know what I mean? Literally, man are in the hotel room, laying down
no,
their
remember
vocals.
Shine on Confession? Man was on the phone in prison. Remember?
Yeah.
But you heard it, it sounded like it was in jail, so.
Yeah, they needed it to sound like it was where it is. But nowadays, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it's a good thing and a bad thing. And I say it's a good thing because, you know what I mean? People that couldn't or didn't have access to, you know what I mean, being able to make music can do it now, and you get some absolute bangers from people that may not have had the opportunity. But now you also have some straight garbage because no, you know what I mean? No, but no, we get some straight garbage because of the barrier for entry so low.
That's it, the quality control.
Yeah, there's none.
About that all the time.
None. There's no quality control because now, literally, you can make music in your yard that sounds as good as, like, in terms of quality as a studio. So back then, you're thinking, I am spending, just like you said, you know what I mean? You're like, I had a little bit of studio time left over and I've knocked out another banger. But you have to be intentional with your studio session because you're like, yo, we have this amount of time, whatever, it's going to cost us, boom, boom. We can't come in here and fuck around or whatever. We need to lay down the best thing we can do in this time. And I feel like, if it was still like that now, I'd say maybe the quality would be a bit better because now you think more before you go out. You don't go out there and knock out 100 garbage tunes.
If you got to pay for it, a bit more attention.
Exactly, you know what I mean? And you're going to studio and, you know what I mean, I'd say because there were probably less studios, you know what I mean? They're all booked up because, you know what I mean, you have actual people that want to make tunes. Now, bro, you knocked that out, like I said, in your yard. You know what I mean? But yourself, you don't even need an engineer, whatever. Slap that out and slap out bare tunes in your house.
I was going to say, so I saw an interview with Harvey and he was talking about at a point in time when So Solid, it was like, dangerous for them man to go out. He was like, there's times we're going to raves and because of our success, people just like were trying it or trying to like move to man or trying to see how far they could get. And he said it was tiring. There were times when they'll just go to raves and it's just, someone will say rah, 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 and the next minute, the man are fighting. So did you experience that as well? Because I know that I remember a point in time when Neutrino was a girl, them sugar, and I know a lot of men didn't like it. So I'm assuming that there would have been guys who would have tried it with you and whatever. So how was it like for you at a point in time when
you kind of see the transition? If you look at the music and the videos, like especially something like Rap This, see how we're going on in there is kind of like the turn of us as a collective,
getting
like, fed up with it, and you know, retaliating as well. And which is, I think, what's a shame is that we set out to do music, and that shouldn't come along with music. Like you should be out there, you know, enjoying your life. You're 18 and having a good time. And people wanting to mess with you, and you know, it's just long. It's like how we saying, it's tiring, and you know, the places that we're going, you couldn't get away with it, away from it as well. So no matter where you went, it was there. Always someone saying something, or you know. And I know that like people have an opinion, and that's fair enough. But you know, when people actually trying it with you, it's completely different. It's, you know, it's uncalled for.
I know Asher he had the gun, you went to prison because he had, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I remember there was a point in time when, did you shoot, remember there's the lyric you say, I shot myself in the foot. But it's like, did you really shoot yourself in the foot with that lyric or did you have, okay, cool. I remember that, I was thinking, I didn't see this nigga injured. But I didn't know, but I just remember at a point in time that, and I remember Harvey saying it, that like, it was just tiring, it was just long. It was just, but it's something that we don't see on our side. We just see you man videos and whatever. We don't see the bad side of music.
Well, like I said, there shouldn't have been a bad side to it. There shouldn't have been that. You know, there shouldn't have been having to carry guns and, you know, man going to prison and whatnot. But I don't know. It's just some people just.
But I think it's the way of the world, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You get stuff and there's always going to be people that want to take stuff, you know what I mean? And people always want to size you up.
Not being naive. I guess there's a bit of naivety where you think, oh, do you know what? Like, wow, this is like...
Because there's certain people that sit there and they think, why do you have that? You know what I mean? Why are you where you are? You know what I mean? And I'm not whatever. And it now becomes their thing to, I'm just going to fuck with you.
But in saying that, see, like, you're reeling off the people in the charts, all these pop acts. They didn't experience that.
You know what it goes back to?
It's true,
and
still.
you know why? They tell on people. It's hilarious. No. It sounds funny, but you know what I mean? Like, you think of, you know, people that, you know what I mean, trouble people, bro. They look at who's most likely to tell on me. You know if you go fuck with Shania Twain, bro, you're going to jail. Pull up with Shania Twain on smoke, outside the Dons, and you're not going to jail.
David Albarn is snitching on you.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah, you can't pull up with Shania Twain on anything. You know what I mean? So it's little things like that. So I feel like Mandem was sizing up who they could do it with, because they knew that you're from where I'm from, so you're going to come with a similar energy, and you know what I mean? And that's it. There's nothing else. And think about it. You had there was nothing else you could do outside of, you're either going to retaliate or you're not going to do nothing. There's nothing else. There's no, I'm going to get in trouble for this, or this person's going to do this. And that's how these men know it. They size you up and they know like this ends is either they're going to do me, I'm going to do them, and that's it.
And also as well, it gets to a point in time where you man are like, you man ain't got nothing to lose. I've just built a madness over here. I've got a number one. I'm doing this. If I engage in this beef, I'm gonna be the ones holding the paper. People are gonna be looking at me like you should know better. Like the battle in your head must have been mad. That like if you retaliate,
we're finished.
We're finished. Like if we don't, people are gonna think.
The problem as well, there's a lot of people representing like the So Solid name. Yeah. So, you know, if you've got a band, for example, that's out there and, you know, there's 2 or 3 of them that if one of them gets in trouble each, you know, it's not that many headlines, but when you got 30 people representing one name and everyone does one thing wrong,
it's literally just different.
30 stories,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a disagreement?
Lost it.
Yeah.
Really, we just truthful with each other. He doesn't like a lyric. He told me if I don't like a tune. You got a problem, like our kind of way in life is if you got a problem with someone, just tell them. Like, don't hold back and be like behind a man's back, like, just tell a man straight, like, I didn't like the way you were carrying on yesterday, you did this and that, all right, cool. That solves so much problems in life. It's just truthful with one another.
I guess the problem that the artists today face, just to compare, is like, for example, what happened to PNB Rock.
Brother, this podcast, we've been doing it for too long, you know.
Why? He was just about to bring that
point that he made just now, I was going to say the same point.
Yeah.
And that point, I was literally going to say to Neutrino that, do you think that with the Americans, the way like PNB's died, Pop Smoke, whatever, that if the UK had guns like America did, that there would have been more casualties in your day?
Well, yeah.
If that makes sense.
One thing, like, what Mega, like, credit to him as well, was making sure that everyone rolled as one. We were tight as a unit. And that stopped a lot of shit from happening. Because there's so many of us and surrounded by certain people, shit didn't happen.
That's not worth it. You know what I mean? You're like, nah.
It would have been mad. It would have been mad. Yeah. Like, I can't really.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. But it would have, been absolutely carnage.
I think safety numbers. You know, you're like, that way you're like, we don't roll like this because we want to do stuff to people, but it keeps people from troubling us, and we don't ever have to get into no problems.
In this country, you can't have, unless you're, you know, royalty, you can't have armed guards. And no security is going to take a bullet for you. You're mad. I'm going to be like, what? Nah, forget that.
I think on the flip side of that, I think, was it a Meat Mill interview where he's wearing like the LV, a mad colourful LV top, and he talks about how beef is expensive. So that means all fine and dandy travelling from state to state with 50 man, but that's 50 man I need to eat, 50 man I need to pay, 50 man I need to sleep, 50 man I need to sleep. It's like, it's just long. So when man are trying to beef me, I'm just like, bro, I hear what you're saying. I know you don't like me, but bro, it's long. I can't. 50 man. And these 50 man might not even back it when it comes to it. I've just wasted how many, do you know what I mean? And when you're trying to explain to the label why your budget needs to be this amount, and they're looking at you like, what, because of beef? Like, they don't understand it. So it's got to come out your own pocket. And it's like, you might be paying for a man's eating, sleeping, whatever. When it comes to backing it, he's not backing it. It's like, brother, why are you here? You like when 50 Cent done it as well, where I think they were going to an awards ceremony and he said to everyone, said to everyone, like, if there's trouble, we'll bring it in-house. Don't make us look stupid outside. I think one man tried to act up, go home, pack your bag. And he wasn't a little man. He was actually one of the main guys, but brother, I ain't got time, go home. And he's looking at everyone. You know, like, it's an awkward one because everyone's in the room and I've said, yo, Marv, go home. I'm thinking, Tazer, who the fuck? Go home. And everyone's just looking down like, Marv. 50 did say, so.
Knock over the table, bro.
Did you ever take Bear Man on tour?
Nah, not really, you know. It was because there were so many of us within the crew.
You can't bring any extras. You're like, everyone's here already.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. Everyone,
30 Wap, he speaks on it where he was like, for him,
he's in jail now.
Is he?
Jesus.
Yeah.
He had, he was like, basically what he realised, I think we had to reshift his life. He was like, because he used to roll with so many men, have so many men. So if he's going shopping or whatever, man, you know, like I like these Amiris or whatever, it's like he's buying 30 pairs of Amiris. You know what I mean? Because he's got 30 man, so when he's going shopping, everyone's picking stuff. You know what I mean? They're picking t-shirts when they go out to a club or whatever. He's, you know what I mean?
Spending bottles.
You know what I mean? 30 man, like 30 people, they're there. Because you want to have all of these people around, it's going to cost you.
And he's the only earner, you know?
Yeah, and that's literally, no. It was literally, so it's not like we're splitting the bill or there's 3 man that's whatever. Literally, with him, it was like, literally, go out there and he's like, you're going shopping and spending 200 bags. You know what I mean? Literally, like, and you've left there with 3 pairs of jeans. And then there's 30 other man with what, literally, he's like, that's what it was. And he's like, it took him so long to realize that, he's like, got to the point even buying cars. When man's out there, and
man can go to the car lot and buy you a car.
No, but this is it. But if you're dragging, this is it, bro. Marvin, if you're dragging 30 man around with you and you want these man to die for you, or you not even that you want, or you expect a certain level.
I think the stakes are higher out there. Like we're saying, if everyone's got access to firearms, then it's
and the money they're making is more as well.
Yeah. And you know the thing? You know what the thing is with America? The money they make, right? So high is very high, but low is very low.
Yeah.
That's the problem with America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The contrast between up here and up here. So the people here, you know what I mean? It's like anything goes, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think about it. With us, I feel like there's a balance. So you have people that make money, but because there's people with no money, but we're not living in the squalor that people in Detroit are living in. You know when you see the stuff you see in America where you're like, yo, bro, I thought that was a third world country. And you're like, this is America. So the disparity between people, it turns people into vicious, where they're like, bro, like I don't have anything anyway. So what's the worst that could happen if I just go on the madness? You know what I mean? I was like, bro, I'm living in nothing.
No, I definitely hear what you're saying, but I feel like the UK it's not getting like that, but it's getting there in terms of you're seeing like videos of just man by the traffic lights and a brother just banging his window, grabbing his watch. Or you're seeing people on peds chasing, like, remember the brother in the Bugatti?
Yeah, in the Chiron,
to smash his window. Like, it's getting there. Like, even raves. We know people going to raves, people doing Snapchat, seeing people's chains, watches. Next minute, man are outside the rave waiting for people. It's kind of getting there. Like, it's just that we haven't got the firearms so that there's fatalities. Because imagine if they did have the guns here like that, like America, people
it would definitely
over
supercharge, you know what I mean, the situation. But yeah, America is the disparity between the, you know what I mean, demographics. There's a Louis Theroux documentary he did. Remember the mega jail one he did in Miami?
Yeah.
He's speaking. There's one guy, and I'll never forget that specific part where the dude where he was in jail for life because he killed one of his nitties or whatever. Because the dude, I think he shorted him or robbed him. It's $20 essentially. But in the situation, when you sit there but you're thinking, bro, it's $20. And the dude was like, bro, my life was shit anyway. He was like, his mum's a crackhead. He's like, my sister's a prostitute. But you know when he spoke of his life, bro, he was like, bro, I'm better off in here. Like, you know when you sit there and you listen to a man and he was like, we see it as like, bro, you're in prison forever. Bro, for him, he was like, better off in here than it was
on the road.
No, literally, the way they speak.
That is crazy as well.
No, literally, like, he was like, my life is better off here. And in America, that's...
Do you know the maddest thing is, I don't know if you heard about in that state, there's a state in America, they're saying a new purge law.
Basically, I wouldn't say purge law. Basically, what they've done is they've removed what they call the paid bail. So, you know, cash bail.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it makes sense. But the thing is, the way they're making it sound like a policeman was saying, we can't arrest people within 48 hours and blah, blah, blah. But there's been a lot of like incorrect coverage about it. And basically, someone broke it down today and I was like, I didn't realize. But they were basically saying that there's people in jail. For example, Rikers Island is not a prison as such. It's for people who are awaiting trial.
Rikers Island?
Yeah. So basically, you could be in there for 4 years and you're waiting for a court case.
Yeah.
So remember, these are people who haven't been convicted yet. So for example, you can get pulled over tomorrow, you're on Rikers. Or you're like in a
Rikers. Yeah, he said it wrong the first
Whatever
time.
it is, man.
No, because you threw him off. That's what I was thinking.
Brother, it doesn't matter what it is. You know what it is, bro. Whatever it is, yeah. You said he was in the 21 Second video.
I know, I got it wrong. I got confused with someone else.
What's going on here? I'm not going about Rikers, bro. What's going
that's
on
why he
here?
corrected you. I'm just saying.
No, but you need to correct yourself.
No, he corrected me and I said, cool, I accepted it. I'm not getting onto you. I'm saying, you said Rikers first, then you said Rikers. You said Rikers again.
No problem. Rikers,
Island.
Is it Ross Island? Whatever it is, yeah? So basically, they're saying that this paid thing is just so that people who can't afford bail don't have to be in prison if they're not. That's what I'm looking for. If they haven't been. What's what I'm looking for? If they're awaiting trial, sorry. Whereas a lot of people are in prison because they can't afford the bail. It's nothing to do with anything else. It's just you can't afford the bail, so that's why you're in it. So you could have 1,000 people in jail just because they can't afford bail. This new policy they're bringing out now is just saying if you can't afford bail, it doesn't matter.
The problem with America is you know what I mean. So you have those people that can't afford bail, and they're you know what I mean decent people that are in a shit situation. Then you have the other side where you're like, these are degenerate motherfuckers that should be where they are, but they also kind of skate through, and that's the problem. And with America, everything in America is on steroids, essentially. The people here, like I said, it's people here. You know what I mean? That's the problem, where you're like, you have your decent people here, and then you have your people here where you're like, I don't think.
No, I get what you're saying, but the only problem is then speed up the process of these cases. But I can't be in jail for 4 years when, because remember, if I'm in jail for 4 years and you find me guilty and you give me 8, calm. I've been in half my sentence. If you find me not guilty and I've been in for 4, like you can't give me my time back. I've looked like work, like loved ones. I've missed out on that work. I've lost my job because no job is going to hold your job for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying for people like that. But I get what you're saying,
you know what I mean? It's balanced because, like I said, there's certain people like. And I used to joke about stuff like this, like, you know me on social media, but I used to say, like, you know, when people talk about prison and so on, because we all know those people, you're like, you know what I mean, I know him, he's cool in that. But should he be out on the roads? Absolutely not. You know, you're like, I feel like everybody's safer if that, you know what I mean, no, you sit there and you're like, it's my guy. Don't let him out.
He's your guy.
But he's not everyone else's guy. You know what I mean? And that's the situation. So America is one of those things where it creates some of the, and I guess it's just down to living conditions of people out there. It creates like, when you look at people like, is it Ron, what's that huge name, man? Who, it was on an M case and he was out there making music. Man's out there, you know what I mean? He's on murder, like they're searching for him.
Well, why Millie?
No, not Melly. Someone else, like before Melly. I'm not sure. It's not Rondo number 9. It's one of these keys.
Rondo.
No.
The funny thing is, all the people I mentioned
they've all died or got
no. But this kid, if you remember the story, so he, you know what I mean, he's on a murder case, like there was literally he's wanted, so literally he's on the run at the moment, and he's still making music. I think he killed someone while he was on the run, essentially, and he's making music. And he's doing his thing or whatever. So now I think they gave him, you know, them life sentences where you're never, ever like, you know,
200 and something.
You know, one of those ones where you could die and come back and you'd still be, you know what I mean? But that's the kind of people America creates. You look at some of these guys and you're like, he's 19. You know, you're looking.
But I think as well, their mentality, how they value life, that's different.
It's cheap over there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's mad. It's like, you know, in Brazil videos where like a man's on a moped and just rolls up to the bag.
Boom, yeah.
You're like, wow. Don't even give me your...
Nothing.
There's a thing they brought in one country, I don't know if it's Colombia or Brazil, where you can knock over someone in a ped now. Have you heard about that? So, I think because there's so many killings on peds and whatever, they've brought in a law now where like...
You don't trust the situation.
You can run over someone in a ped, like, and it's legal. So there's a compilation video of people like, you see someone in the ped and they're about to like pull out a gun and you see someone just driving and bang.
Yeah,
it's a community thing now where they're like, we're on you now.
Like South Africa.
They'll be killing bare people on
Bro, in SA, there's certain places in South Africa, bro, when you just don't stop at traffic lights. You know, traffic lights, them traffic lights go red.
You keep going.
You figure that out.
Someone said that to me the other day.
You do not do that stopping shit, you know what I mean? Especially in places like Joburg and whatever.
Do you know how mad it is that when you break it down in terms of different parts of the world, how people like, as you said, the value for life is like, they don't care. It's just like, it's not, and the thing is, it's not even like, let me rob you and just take your jewels. It's like, I'm going to kill you anyway. Like, I'm going to take your stuff and kill you. It's just like, bro, you don't need to do both.
You know, I was going to give you this deal. You're telling me it's not even real.
In them countries, the moment someone
give me a chance.
You're taking off, listen.
Because you tell man, bro, just let me act up a little bit, but people can see me like, you can have it, you know what I mean?
I video it and let me just
a bit of a struggle. Man, bro, like, come on, bro. But this is it, you know, we've reached a point now where some people are like, bro, I ain't got time to talk. You know what I mean? It's literally boom, in, out. You know what I mean? And we're starting to see that here now. You know what I mean? Because think about how many, we've had, I'd say a handful of people that have died through people trying to take their stuff.
Robbery,
You know what I mean? Video we spoke about where there's this couple from little blurb I read about it. So I think they went to a restaurant in Mayfair. So they've...
was it the guy with the Rolex?
Yes, and he was with his missus.
And
they've driven home, and they've come and they've literally just tucked both him and his missus in. And you look at that and you're like, they didn't, bro, it wasn't even like they resisted. The guys just went in there swinging, swung out on him, swung out on his missus, and you're like...
I think people are thinking of, like, I ain't got time for a failed attempt. I've driven all this way, it's not failed.
But you know, like,
just bang, bang, let's get out of it.
but you know what I mean? But yeah, and I get it, because there was another guy as well where it was, you know, all of these videos that will circulate, and he has stitches from the back of his head all the way to the front where the guys have, you know what I mean, mash him up or whatever. And the guy was like, I would have given them this shit if they asked. They didn't ask. They just laid into, man. Just literally weighed him in. I was with Papa. We were at, it's a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago. Selfridges. We're parking up Selfridges going round, and we saw this dude throw acid in an old lady's face, whatever. And it was funny because as he's tried to duck out, these construction workers grabbed him. Oh, they battered him. You know what I mean? I've never been so happy to see someone, because if you looked at the old lady that bro, like, you could have gone boo, and this lady would have given you everything. But these guys now are, you know what I mean? I would say lazy, bro. Like, go out there, scare her, intimidate her, you're a criminal, you know what I mean? But they would have cheated. And bro, he threw the acid. And when I say acid, I don't mean like stuff. Some acid would, you know what I mean, melt your face away. It's just like when you think of, what's the stuff you clean the tub with?
Sulfuric acid.
No, it's another one where you're thinking you can't breathe when they throw it in your face. You know what it is? I forgot. And you can't breathe, and it's got this mad smell.
Bleach.
It's not bleach, man.
Ammonia.
Ammonia. You know what I mean? Things with ammonia. Ammonia, like, bro, literally it matters. People throw ammonia in your face. You don't know where you are. But I think it was a situation where she's, you know what I mean, disoriented or whatever. She's lost it, and he's grabbing her shit, and he's going. And I was like, bro, you could have gone boo, and that lady would have taken everything off. You see what I mean? I was like, what?
But then someone like that, can you rehabilitate someone like that?
Nope. If you're willing to maim an old lady for a kettle,
No, but certain man like that, they might be able to, because them man there, like,
start again.
No, I'm not saying that, but like,
delete that.
It like, if you're gonna rob an old woman, your critical thinking's terrible, because you could have just barged her and then she would have hit the floor, but you are using the same method
that you use
on anyone on a 6'6" brother to an old lady. So he'll go to jail, he'll get slapped up, and he'll just probably, you don't want a life anymore. So get me.
Nah, them man, they don't. Like, for me, I feel like if you think like that, if you're willing to do that to old ladies,
no, he's a piece of shit.
They're you know, you're like, you know what I mean? It's literally, sometimes you're like, you know what I mean? Just delete that and start again. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's some people that just can't be rehabilitated.
Nope.
They're just lost.
Had a lot go their way to make them like that, you know. People like, I was watching a documentary on Mike Tyson the other night. You know, he got kind of rehabilitated by the guy who took him under his wing. So,
Castamado,
yeah, I reckon it's doable, but you know,
you just have to catch them at a certain point.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you do whatever. Some of them are just so far gone, and you look at certain people and you're like, there's no coming back. There's certain people you look at and you are like, you are so far gone, it can only get worse. You know what I mean? There's certain people you look at and then something will happen to them and you're like, you know what? I'm not surprised that this ended up this way, because you're like, it just escalates and escalates and escalates. And, you know, we're speaking about America. I feel like we're getting American level of crimes from people here. And I feel like for us, and I feel like the UK is too small for some of the stuff that we have going on now. We're like, this is wild, bro. Because there was a 4-year-old that got shot the other day. Saw it in the paper. 4-year-old.
9-year-old.
There was a 9-year-old. There was a 4-year-old.
4-year-old as well.
9-year-old was in like Liverpool.
Yeah.
But literally little things like that where you're sitting there and you're like, what the fuck? Essentially, you know what I mean? When you look at that level of crime, we're not used to it. Bro, I read Liverpool's mad. This is a couple of years ago. I was reading an article. This dude, I'm not sure what he did or whatever, but he got shot in both legs with a crossbow. Bro, the kids who did it was 16. They shot him in both knees.
You know what a crossbow is?
Bro,
They're watching, what's that from? Hunger Games, bro.
Bro, they shot him in both legs, crossbow. You know what I mean? I sat there and the kids were 16. 16, bro. You know, you sit there and you're like 16.
Medieval shit.
And that's what it was. You know what I mean? It puts you in a weird thing. I'm not sure if I said this last episode where I was in the Tesco and there was the kids on the scooters or whatever. And it's risky, bro, because, you know what I mean? I wanted to say something, riding on the e-scooters, and I wanted to say something. But I was like, nah, it's not worth it.
Peasant.
No, bro. But you know these kids now. You know what I mean? You're like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not getting into a back and forth with them and they're waiting for man outside.
Some of these kids are the age where they might tuck man in still.
No, really? Bro.
2, 3 of them.
Bro,
tucking man in.
It's not even a...
And they might be on camera as well.
Bro, not even tucking you. Bro, you're going to go out and all you're going to hear is, let me chat to you, big man.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to tuck man in.
When you hear, let me chat to you, big man, you're like, here we go. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a whole different conversation. And the way it works is, you know, you can never win in that situation because it's one of two ways. You're the guy that battered the 16-year-old. You're the guy that got battered by 16-year-old.
I'd rather be the guy that battered the 16-year-old.
100%.
I'll go out on that, bro.
On a Cat Williams thing.
That's what I'm saying. Cat Williams.
Brother, Cat Williams' career has not been the same since the 12-year-old put him in a
headlock. He was on the floor like that. The hair was all messed up. I was on the floor looking up at the cover like,
bro, the way that little you had him twist up, I'm like, you let a 12-year-old...
No respect, bro.
He got twist up by he got twist up by a 12-year-old. It's like, you could never live that down.
Yeah, that
Lucky Charms. What's that? The Friday where my man comes after.
Friday after next.
Friday after next.
Yeah, bro.
It's not worth it, man.
In the words of Charleston White, shoot the people with the camera. Charleston White said, Ben says, if I get battered on camera and someone's recording it, I'm shooting the people with the cameras. You know what I mean? Because man's taking it to a next level.
That's the like cameras now. It's just mad.
Yeah.
Look at the youths that ran up in West End the other day when they were robbing the shop. You see that? And I know a lot of people going, this and that. And I was like, listen, back in your day, people were doing that, but the only thing was,
you didn't see
no
it.
one's filming the camera. Man was robbing shops and people doing that and
ATM, people security
but no one filming it.
Yeah.
And if there were cameras back then, you would have had them idiots filming it. There would have been an idiot around there like, yeah, look at me.
We did remember Happy Slap videos came up. When I got bro, it's something I was thinking of. I was like, that was a fucked up time. We're recording themselves, proper clotting people.
There was one that I shouldn't laugh at, the funniest one I've seen, and God forgive me, was the construction bread at the top of the bus, and he got one slap at the back, another slap from this way. As he's running off the top deck down the stairs, bare man, so he didn't really like that, but the whole school was clapping my head. I said, come on, man. Remember that time?
Yeah, bro, but it was a crazy time to me. Because you know, when we look back now, you're like, you remember The Wire?
Yeah.
Remember The Wire?
Yeah.
Nigga, is you recording, you know, you taking notes? Criminal fucking conspiracy? You know what I mean? Brother, you in the middle of a crime.
The worst one though, people will literally just be at a bus stop and you just get and you see the person hold their face like, why did you do this?
And it was hilarious, bro, because they weren't slapping people that look like people's mums. Like, it was just, you know what I mean, bare civilians. You know what I mean? People that weren't expecting it. You know what I mean? You're just at the bus stop, your nan's there, bow.
It's weird how that died out though. It just stopped. When you think about it, it wasn't a gradual thing.
Because it just
stopped.
No, because I think they started to clamp down on it. Like, they started to clamp down on it at the time.
Getting GBH charges.
Yeah. Because that's what it... No, they had to... No, but they had to do that.
That's assault.
No, they would have escalated.
It's not worth it anymore.
Okay.
But the problem with social media and the things like this is it would have escalated on something else. So they had to be very extreme because you're like, we need to stop. We can't wait for it to gradually stop. We need this to stop now or it's going to escalate.
No, it reminds me. Remember that crate challenge where people were going until someone broke their neck and their back?
That made no sense.
You can see it happening because it was escalating. Like, I'm going to one up you and go higher and higher. And I just was watching them like, it's coming.
It's coming. And people hurting themselves. Proper injuring
his
themselves.
back. Like, he's all lying there like, man.
I'm surprised it took that long.
The ice challenge? Ice bucket.
I was minded though, man.
What?
Ice bucket.
That's for a good cause.
Yeah. It was for good cause. And it's minded. Someone throwing water on.
Like a motor neuron disease. I can't remember what.
ACLU.
Yeah, but after a while, it weren't about the cause no more.
No, it weren't, but I'm saying, but you can't really hurt yourself with that one though. Someone throwing an ice bucket at you. Unless you slip on the floor and then...
Like, get shocked, bro, from fucking cold water and them things. But yeah, like, it's just so different, like, from you guys' time where social media is just, you know, taken over, where it's just supercharged everything on. And I feel like, what can you, now that you guys, you know what I mean, because when we were speaking earlier, you were talking about you're still touring, still, you know, doing music with a new generation. What effect can you say social media and kind of the current layout has had on your music?
I don't know, like, in a weird way, it's kind of infected us, you know, like when we made music, it was all natural. There weren't really, I want to make music like this. You just go in the studio, whatever sounds you got in the studio, you'd make, you know, that's how tunes like Rap This come about. But now there's kind of trends and you might go to studio now and think, you know, you're trying to fit in with what's current. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's maybe a little bit less, I don't know, maybe you think about it a little bit more now, you know?
Do you man like it though? Because, you know, like, for example, like, some people can kind of get used to something and be like, natural transition is in like, yo, I like social media. And I know a lot of men that are like, I don't like it.
Yeah, there's certain points. We've always been too cool for it. Like, it's like, I don't know, music's always been natural and, you know, we're not there like, hi guys, this and that, and playing the game that you kind of need to do as an artist with social media. We're not really in it like that, you know? Like, we do the clubs at the weekend and we make music when we want to. And it's not the same kind of desperate hunger, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of artists have these.
And not like kind of using it as our tool for music. That's what it is. It's not really about our personal lives and what we do. And I know people are like, but it's this day and age, you got to bring it. It's like, no, we don't want it now. You're not going to,
social media has actually ruined a lot of legends for man, you know? Like,
we've seen too much,
brother. You see certain man, like, you're catching your favorite rappers, you know what I mean, in women's comments, you know what I mean, and you're thinking, no.